Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our latest installment of Snack Talk, where we like to have conversations staff to staff while having some snacks. Today, I have the one and only Mr. Flemons. I know him as Mr. Esteban Flemons. To tell you the truth, a long history going along between me and him. And we'll get into some of those years and stories here in just a second. First question, though, right off the bat, we gotta know what it is you're snacking on today during this little lunch times we get now.
Oh, Mr. Lopez. Well, since I ate earlier, because I can't wait till 12 o'clock to eat, I had some Costco tortilla chips and some salsa with my snack today for lunch, and having a little bit of water right now to wash those down with. But I don't know. I think once we're done here, I might make myself a hamburger.
I was foolish and left my water at home, which is bad with this heat. So I have my traditional.
Oh, there we go. The energy drink.
So the good old students already know. And then, of course, it's going to be hard having an interview, but why not? I'm going to put cheese in my mouth so I get phlegm.
There we go. Pack of cheese. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's fun. Anyways. All right. So I kind of brought up our history a little bit, only because you are one of the longest standing people at North that I know. All right. And in case people don't know, you're actually an alumnus of North.
Correct.
All right. I mean, hopefully you can answer this question, but why North?
Why North? Why North? So again, I'm old as old can be at this point in time. I started attending North back in 1995, and I graduated from North in 1999. And really, I was supposed to go to Central, and I decided that the IB program was a good fit for me in junior high, so I just decided North is going to be the thing. And then went to school up at NAU, enjoyed Flagstaff, but when I came back, they gave me that opportunity. They asked me if I wanted to do my student teaching here at North, so I did that. And then in August of 2003, I got hired on as a science teacher, and I've been here teaching science and being the IB director ever since. So this is my 18th year here on campus.
Well, if we add all the years together, we're looking at how much?
22. We're looking at more than half my lifetime has been here on North's campus, hanging out, being a Mustang, representing the red and blue.
That's what's up. You kind of touched a little bit of why you wanted to come to North, both as a student and later on. What did you do as a student, and what are the hats you wear now here on campus?
Yeah, so I think when I got to high school, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, so I played around with a few things. I did sports. My sophomore year was the first year we had a swim team. I played basketball a couple years. Like I said, I did the IB program. It's something I enjoyed. My junior year, I got involved in student council, so I did that for 2 years. I played tennis. So just sort of little things here and there. I think just being involved on the campus is really important to me. I enjoyed the spirit days. I enjoyed getting dressed up. I enjoyed doing things to make everyone else enjoy being on campus. And so that was one of the things that I enjoyed when I was in high school. And so when I went to college, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for work, I originally thought, I'll be a medical doctor. And then I sort of missed people. And so when I got to college, and I took an education class, and I got to go back to a classroom and work with people and show them what I was doing. I really said that's really my sort of passion here. So that's when I decided, let me change to education. And still like science, but I can do science at a high school level. And then, coming back, I live in the general area of North. I'm from Phoenix Union, so I was like, I want to teach the kids that sort of were like me in high school. So let's go back and teach instead of teaching somewhere else.
So tell me about all the hats you have to wear, though, that you started before you started. What are the hats?
Oh yeah, since I've been here. So during my time here at North, I coached swim for 12 years. I coached freshman girls basketball for another 6 years. I have run our NFL. I've done our NFL diversity camp for all 18 years that I've been here. Currently, my job is the IB director, so I manage the IB program, the testing, and things like that. I've helped sponsor student council events, chaperoned I don't know how many field trips, done overnight stays. I mean, you name it, I've probably done it. So, and then for a professional level, I'm one of the leaders on our campus for our teachers. So when teachers have questions or concerns with their union or just about how to get things done, I'm the person they go to. So I do lots of different things. So I'm on all the time, but it works out. Makes days interesting.
I kind of say this very, a little bit humbly too. There was programs that have been long lasting here at North that you took over, and then I had a chance to take over, later on. And I think the longevity of these programs shows the success. And then when it gets handed over to you, it's like the responsibility is now yours, and there's that legacy you got to carry on with it. One of them that you have is IB. What has been probably one of your ongoing goals since taking over the IB program a couple years back?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that I looked at when I came in to take over the program, so we've had the IB program here at North since 1985. And I'm the fourth director in the program. So there's been a long history of it. And I think the big thing I looked at when we were here is, who is this program here to serve, and who do we make it available to? And can we make it available to more students on campus? I know that there's a feeling sometimes that, you have to be super smart to be an IB, and if it's only these kids that can do these super high grades. And really what I want to move away from is IB is more of a way of thinking about education, thinking about more than just here in Phoenix or here in Arizona or here in the United States, but like, what do we learn that everyone around the globe needs to learn, and how do we make those connections to people outside of here? And I think anyone can do that. Anyone can sit in one of our IB classes and learn some things about subjects that are outside of just Arizona. So when we look at some of our classes that we brought on, so we've tried to bring on classes that sort of focus on that more. We're bringing on IB World Religions this year. It'll be our first year offering that class to look at religions from around the world, not just the ones we're really familiar with here in Phoenix. We've really looked at our English classes, trying to bring on more works from people of color, from people from different backgrounds, gender, and also just some of the different texts. Graphic novels, for example, bringing those into context. Like, we don't just need to read 400-page books over and over by white males from 100 years ago to be literate. So we can look at these new things and say, hey, poetry from a Black female can be powerful. Writings from an Asian American young adult can be powerful. So all of those things, I think we really want to bring in to represent the diversity we have on our campus. And I think that's important. And I think also that goes into where we're bringing students in from. I've really taken it upon myself to try to go into different schools out on the west side that maybe we weren't tapping into, and bringing students in. Shout out to all my IB students from Pueblo del Sol. Prior to me taking over, there was one kid from Pueblo del Sol, and I think now there's probably about 20 of them in the IB program at least that are here doing things, giving opportunities where they didn't have some before.
I love that shout out. That's where I went to middle school.
Oh, there we go. See?
All right. The other thing you got going on, NFL.
Huh?
I must say, that's probably something that I take a lot from it. But we also have probably the most students effect that I feel like in our district because of our program that we have here. It's probably one of the, well, if not the longest standing program, it is definitely one that has kind of shed the light or shown the path to everyone else on how to run it. What have you noticed since being here at North, working with that program, and how it's affected the culture and climate that we have here with our students?
I think NFL is really interesting because it allows us to have difficult conversations in a safe space. So as students, we get to talk to people that maybe aren't like us, or maybe don't think the same way that we do, in a safe environment that we're not going to be criticized or judged. And again, with NFL being a program that's been along for so long, I think really we look outside right now at some of the racial injustices and some of the events that have occurred, and it's concerning because that's what the program like NFL was brought up to do. It was brought up to help eliminate and educate people so that we can move past some of those things. With that being said, has there been, even in my time here, has the program evolved and changed? Absolutely. I think we look at some of the social context that was out there and things that we used to really talk about as being taboo. At camp are now things that are just part of the discussion. And I'll bring up, we'll talk about gender identity as a big thing now. When I started doing the program back in 2003, we never really brought up gender. We didn't bring up, there was a concern at that point in time that we didn't want to accidentally out a student as being, part of the LGBTQ plus community. And now we have pieces of our program that we really embrace, and we celebrate if people want to celebrate who they are, and we have those opportunities to have those conversations. Because I think some students hear LGBTQ, or they use, different terminology, and they don't really know what that means, or what's the difference between someone being gay or someone being transsexual. They don't know the terms, they don't know what they mean, and they don't have anyone to ask. And so I think our camp really allows us to have these opportunities. And Don Davis and Gretchen Clift and the other two directors have really done a great job in bringing in speakers from outside of NOR that are really experts on these conversations that have helped really bring correct information, correct terminology, new activities, so that students that have gone to camp have had the chance to experience it and can come back and speak as an expert to family, friends, and others about things that are going on.
On the staff end of NFL, what has been your favorite moments of staff growth with this program?
Ooh, staff growth. So I would probably say when we look at staff, I would say on North's campus, we probably have about 30 staff members that have attended at one time or another part of our program. And I'd say the part for staff that's really awesome is just the rejuvenation. Because as staff members, we often see students as, hey, I'm the teacher, I got to get you this information. And we can come off as sort of hard. I'm like, I need you in attendance, I need this homework. And I don't think sometimes students realize that the staff are here because they love the students that they're working with, and they care about them as people. And part of sometimes the way we show it in our class is we have to be hard on you to get you to do the work, because we know education is going to lead to success. At camp, though, because we're not doing academics, what we're really looking at is we're looking at opportunities for us to bond as people with each other and understand that this staff member cares about you. And even though they may have never had you in class, when you're in a group with them, they value what you say, they value what they do. They want you to be happy and healthy and ready to carry on. And they want you to be able to come back to North, help change not only our campus and our little zone here, but the idea is that if we can help you do that, then going forward, you'll be able to make those positive influences with either your family members or your friends, or maybe it might be 10 years down the road that you just sort of go, hey, I get this now, and I'm a little more tolerant, which is what we're looking for. We're not looking to change the entire world in one day, but we are looking to go, hey, if we have a bunch of people doing a bunch of little things each day, that's how change comes around.
I'm going to throw a word at you. I want you to associate a staff member with that word, past or present.
Okay.
All right. So the first word I'm going to give you, unbreakable. Who do you think has been unbreakable through years here at North?
Who is unbreakable? Man, there's a lot. I'm going to throw Miss Casillas under the unbreakable part. Miss Casillas as the principal, I think everything that we hear as staff, she hears 20 times over. And I look at a lot of the work that she does, and I know some work that I do at district on all the things that come to the principal, and it's a lot. I would not want her job. You couldn't pay me enough to do it. So when we talk about someone who's not breakable, if you think about since March, just had to learn everything on the fly and be like, hey, so we're not coming back to school, and we're going to teach everyone how to do this. I'm going to say that Ms. Casillas get the unbreakable word of the day.
That's awesome. That's a good pick right there. So, all right, cool. All right, next one we give you. Who would you throw this word with? All right, compassionate.
Man, that's hard. There's so many people that give up so much of their time and effort and everything here. I could name any one of our coaches being compassionate. I could name everyone who does these clubs and activities that do these awesome things. I think I'm going to throw out a coach. I'm going to throw out Coach Shabazz as being compassionate. And I think having worked with him as the freshman girls coach, the effort that him and Coach Spottelson, Coach Lena put in, and the support they've always given the girls in the program. And compassion doesn't always mean easy. Compassion can be like, I'm holding you to the fire, but just like he has always been there, and Coach Spottelson, just to like make sure the girls in our program have done really well. And I've heard that Coach Kai is following along those footsteps. But I haven't seen Coach Kai, so I'm just going to speak to those two, Coach Spottelson and Coach Shabazz, as being just compassionate people.
All right, so for your last, phrase, not word, but phrase, partner in crime.
Oh, partner in crime.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I think I've got my solid partner in crime. I got a second place too. So my number one partner in crime is going to be Miss Clifton. Her and I are North High alum buddies, and we hang out and make, she's my buddy. She's my partner in crime for running NFL camp and helps out with me basically anything that is needed. So she's my number one partner in crime. Mr. Perry comes in the second place. So he gets second bidding. But Miss Clifton number one. Mr. Perry, with all of his weird red beardness, will come in number two. But we'll go with that one.
All right, those are some solid picks. All right, I'll give you those ones. All right. I got a couple of I got one future question for you, because one of the things you did mention was being our union rep, union chair. Mm-hmm. The man has to deal with all the education stuff outside of this campus, state levels and whatnot, national level too. With that position, what you got going on, where do you want education to go now that we're kind of social distance, when we come back, everything? Like, where do you want our students' education in general, where do you want us to go?
I think the biggest thing that is a concern for me and that we're looking to do is to make sure that no matter when we decide to come back, that everyone is safe. That includes staff, that includes students. And it's not just about being safe on campus, but it's also about being safe when you go home. One of the biggest concerns that we have is that, Lord forbid, someone comes on campus that's sick and doesn't know it and transmits to someone else who takes it back home to a family member, a sibling, a nana, a tata, someone that's older that maybe doesn't have the ability to fight it off, and that there's additional loss of life to that. That's the biggest concern. So I know that I miss being on campus and being able to see students and work with them. I miss assemblies, I miss pep rallies, I miss all those people together. But I also know that right now that's just not safe for us to be concerned. So I want to make sure when we come back on campus, however that is, we're going to be safe. And it might be that coming back on campus means that, people are only here 2 days a week and they're in smaller classes to make sure that we can socially distance until we can get ahead of this with a vaccine or something else. So that we know that we come here and then we do get to the point when we can get back together and we can run a homecoming assembly or a spring sports assembly, or we could just have everyone hang out in the Ramada area during lunchtime, that we know that everyone's going to be able to walk home, be with their family, and they're not going to be worried that did I accidentally bring somebody back. So that's my number one concern. And same with our teachers. Our teachers, they love our students, but they also love their families. And so a lot of our teachers are caring for a family member at home. They might be older, they might have younger kids as well, and they don't want to bring anything back to their family. So want to make sure that we're all on that same page. I know that things are frustrating. We don't love wearing the mask. We don't love doing any of those things, but when we can get to the point, we'll be able to celebrate getting back. But till then, it's the rough part that we all got to deal with right now.
All right, so the last thing's gonna be pretty much the open floor. If you had a chance to say anything, past or present, whatever it needs to be, the students, staff, community of North High School, what was one thing you definitely want to get that message out today?
What I'd say is that those of us that are here, we are part of a long legacy of Mustangs. If you walk out in the community, you have a North High shirt on, there is someone who's going to find you and tell you, oh, I went to North back in this day. I've been in other states and had a North High shirt on and had someone come and tell me, you know what, my grandmother went to North High School back in 1940. So when you say you're a Mustang, you're carrying a legacy. And so it's not just about you, it's about everyone who's behind you. And it's about everyone that's coming down the pipe here. I know that I'll probably be at North for the next 10 years. I will see all those kids come through. And I'm sure that I will be out in the community afterwards, seeing people there North, and I'm going to be that old guy. It's like, I used to work at North. Does so-and-so work there anymore? Oh, yeah, they were just a baby when I was there, and I remember this. And the people are going to look at like, dude, old guy, go away. But understand that, and I'd say the same thing for staff is that, I've watched, 20 years of staff come through, and, you're part of the legacy as well. We are part of this community that's been here, and, while we won't be here forever, we definitely have that option to go and leave our mark along the way, one way or another.
But just want to go and wrap it up with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Flemons, for spending time with us, sharing the kind words. And I think we really appreciate that. And we're all looking forward to the day we're all back together. So,
absolutely, Mr. Lopez, I appreciate the chance to chat to everyone. And if anyone's ever got questions, don't hesitate to reach out via Teams, because that's the way we talk now, just on Teams and the chat. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
And then with that, that's be a wrap from the 1101 studios here. So, made a great day, Mustangs.
All right. Bye.